Let me ask you a question that could change the way you see everything. What if the reality you are living right now is just one layer, one dimension of the vast multiverse of experiences? What if the challenges, limitations, and even the joys of this life are only a small fragment of what's truly possible? There is a secret that has been whispered through ancient teachings, explored in modern spiritual movements, and even hinted at by quantum physics. It's not about a place you can go or a thing you can achieve. It's about an entirely different way of being, and it's called the fifth dimension. Right now, you're living within the boundaries of the third dimension. The 3D world is what we know so well, the world of physical objects, linear time, cause and effect, and duality. It's a world where up is up, down is down, and everything is defined by contrast, good versus bad, light versus lag. And while the third dimension gives us structure, it also locks us into a certain way of thinking. It tells us that what we see is what's real, that we are separate from the universe, and that change is slow, gradual, and hard-won. But what if none of that is true? What if the very rules of 3D reality are just a construct, a framework that can be transcended? This is where the fifth dimension comes in. The fifth dimension isn't a physical place you can visit. It's not a hidden planet or a distant galaxy. It's a shifting consciousness, a higher frequency, a new way of perceiving and interacting with reality. In the fifth dimension, duality dissolves, separation melts away. Time is no longer linear. Instead, everything exists in a state of unity, flow, and infinite possibility. Thought. Imagine a reality where you are no longer defined by your past, where you're no longer bound by fear, and where manifestation happens almost instantaneously because you are so deeply aligned with the energy of creation itself.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But here's the thing, the fifth dimension isn't something you get to, it's something you awaken to. It's already here, right now, layered over your 3D experience, waiting for you to tune into it. It's like a radio station broadcasting a higher frequency, and just like a radio, you have to adjust your internal dial to match the frequency of the fifth dimension. The question is, how do you make the leap? How do you shift from a 3D perspective to a 5D state of being? The first step is awareness. You have to understand that the third dimension is not the ultimate truth. The struggles you face, the limitations you feel, and the systems of control that seem so unshakable are all part of the illusion of 3D reality. When you believe that you are separate from others, separate from the universe, and even separate from your higher self, you are living fully immersed in the 3D world. But what if separation is the greatest illusion of all? What if you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a single drop? The fifth dimension invites you to see beyond the illusion of separation and recognize the interconnectedness of all things. Let me ask you, have you ever had a moment when time seemed to stop? A moment when you felt completely at peace, as though everything was exactly as it should be? Maybe it was during meditation, or a walk in nature, or even a simple conversation where you felt deeply connected to someone. Those moments are glimpses of the fifth dimension. They're not random. They're reminders that this higher state of being is always available to you. The challenge is learning how to sustain it, how to live from that place rather than just visiting it occasionally. To shift into the fifth dimension, you need to let go of the baggage of the 3D world. This doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities or ignoring the physical reality around you. It means releasing the limiting beliefs, fears, and attachments that keep you anchored in 3D thinking. For example, in the third dimension, we are conditioned to believe in scarcity, that there's not enough to go around, that we have to compete for resources, that we have to struggle to survive. But in the fifth dimension, scarcity doesn't exist. Abundance is the natural state of the universe, and you are a co-creator of that abundance. The more you align with this truth, the more you begin to see it reflected in your life. Another hallmark of the fifth dimension is the dissolution of time as we know it. In 3D, time feels like a straight line, a series of moments moving from past to present to future. But in the fifth dimension, time is not linear, it's fluid. All possibilities exist simultaneously, and the version of you who is living your highest potential already exists. The key to accessing that version of yourself is not to wait for the right time, but to align with that energy right now. When you stop chasing the future and start embodying your higher self in the present, you collapse the distance between where you are and where you want to be. This is the essence of 5D manifestation. First, let's talk about one of the biggest obstacles to accessing the fifth dimension: fear. Fear is a 3D construct. It thrives on the illusion of separation. Separation from others, separation from your own power. Fear tells you that you are small, limited, and vulnerable. And as long as you believe its story, you remain locked in the third dimension. To shift into the fifth dimension, you must confront your fears head-on, not by fighting them, but by seeing through them. Ask yourself, is this fear real, or is it just a projection of my mind? What would my life look like if I released this fear and trusted the flow of the universe? The fifth dimension also invites you to live from your heart rather than your mind. In the third dimension, we are taught to prioritize logic, reason, and analysis. We are taught to solve problems, make plans, and control outcomes. But the heart operates on a different frequency. It doesn't need to analyze or control, it simply knows. When you live from your heart, you tap into the infinite wisdom of the universe. You begin to trust your intuition, follow your joy, and make decisions based on love rather than fear. And as you do, you naturally rise into the frequency of the fifth dimension. So let me ask you, are you ready to let go of the old stories that have been keeping you stuck? Are you ready to see beyond the illusion of separation and step into a new way of being? Because the fifth dimension isn't just a concept, it's a calling. It's an invitation to awaken to your true nature as a limitless, interconnected being. And once you answer that call, nothing will ever be the same. So, you've felt the pull. You've caught glimpses of the fifth dimension in moments of peace, intuition, or synchronicity. But how do you make this higher frequency your new reality instead of just fleeting experiences? The truth is, the fifth dimension isn't out there waiting for you to find it. It's within you, waiting for you to embody it. The shift begins with your intention and your willingness to release everything that keeps you tethered to the old, limiting 3D paradigm. But intention alone isn't enough. You need practical tools to raise your vibration, expand your consciousness, and make the fifth dimension your default state of being. The first tool is presence. In the third dimension, our minds are constantly pulled between the past and the future. We replay old wounds, rehearse future fears, and rarely exist fully in the now. But the fifth dimension can only be accessed through the present moment because it is timeless. To anchor yourself in the present, start by cultivating mindfulness in your daily life. Pay attention to your breath, your body, and the sensations around you. When your mind begins to wander into worry or regret, gently bring it back to the now. Ask yourself, what is real in this moment? You will find that in the present there is no fear, only peace. Meditation is one of the most powerful ways to access the fifth dimension. When you meditate, you quiet the noise of the 3D world and open a channel to higher frequencies. But not all meditations are the same. To connect with the fifth dimension, focus on expanding your awareness rather than controlling your thoughts. Try this. Close your eyes, take slow, deep breaths, and imagine a golden light surrounding your body. Feel this light lifting you, expanding your energy, and connecting you to the infinite. Visualize yourself stepping into the fifth dimension, where everything flows effortlessly, and feel the peace and joy of being there. The more you practice this, the more your energy will naturally resonate with the higher dimensions. Another tool for awakening is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states you can embody, and it's a direct gateway to the fifth dimension. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your energy from lack to abundance, from fear to love. Start a daily gratitude practice by writing down 3 things you're thankful for every morning. Don't just list them, feel the gratitude in your heart. Imagine that gratitude radiating out into the universe, raising your vibration and aligning you with the energy of the fifth dimension. After this, do something kind for another. Let's talk about intuition. In the third dimension, we're conditioned to rely on logic, but the fifth dimension operates on a deeper knowing. Your intuition is your connection to this higher wisdom. It's how your soul communicates with you. To strengthen your intuition, start paying attention to the subtle nudges, feelings, and signs that guide you. When you're faced with a decision, instead of overthinking, place your hand on your heart and ask, what feels right? Trust the answer, even if it defies logic. The more you trust your intuition, the more it will lead you into alignment with the fifth dimension. Synchronicity is another sign that you're tuning into the fifth dimension. Have you ever noticed how, when you're in flow, the right people, opportunities, and ideas seem to appear at exactly the right time? This isn't coincidence, it's the universe responding to your vibration. To invite more synchronicity into your life, start by setting clear intentions. What do you want to create? What energy do you want to embody? Then, release the need to control how it happens. Trust that the universe is already working behind the scenes to bring your desires into reality. Stay open and pay attention to the signs and opportunities that appear. They're guiding you toward your highest path. But here's an important truth. Raising your vibration isn't just about adopting new practices, it's also about releasing what no longer serves you. The fifth dimension cannot coexist with the dense, heavy energies of fear, anger, and judgment. You must be willing to let go of old patterns, beliefs, and attachments that keep you anchored in 3D thinking. Start by observing your thoughts. Are they rooted in love or fear? Are they expansive or limiting? When you notice a fear-based thought, don't judge it. Simply acknowledge it and choose a new one. Replace "I'm not enough" with "I am infinite." Replace "I don't have enough" with "Abundance is my natural state." Forgiveness is a powerful way to release 3D baggage. In the fifth dimension, there is no room for resentment or blame because you understand that everything is connected and that every experience serves your growth. Holding on to anger or judgment only weighs you down. Ask yourself, who or what do I need to forgive to free myself? This might include forgiving others, but it also means forgiving yourself. When you forgive, you release the energy that binds you to the past, creating space for the higher frequencies of love and unity to flow through you. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you fully embraced the fifth dimension? If you let go of fear, trusted the flow of the universe, and lived from your heart? Imagine waking up every day feeling connected, abundant, and at peace. Imagine a life where challenges no longer feel like obstacles, but opportunities for growth and expansion. This is the life that awaits you in the fifth dimension. But it requires a choice. See, the choice to release the old and step into the new. The choice to live not just as a physical being, but as a multi-dimensional soul. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Every moment is an opportunity to realign, to raise your vibration, and to embody the energy of the fifth dimension. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. You'll begin to notice that your external reality starts to shift in response. Relationships become more harmonious. Opportunities flow effortlessly. Synchronicities appear everywhere. You'll realize that the universe isn't separate from you. It's a reflection of you. And as you embody the fifth dimension, you'll see that it's not just a higher state of being, it's your true nature. And sure, Lydia, so you've begun to understand the tools needed to raise your vibration and align yourself with the fifth dimension. But what happens when you fully step into this higher frequency? What does life look like when you live as a fifth dimensional being? To answer this, we need to explore something profound: your relationship with the universe itself. Because in the fifth dimension, you're no longer just a participant in life. You become an active co-creator of your reality. The universe isn't something outside of you, it's an extension of you, responding to your energy in real time. Let's start with this truth. In the fifth dimension, you recognize that separation is an illusion. You are not separate from the universe, from others, or even from your desires. Everything is interconnected, part of a unified field of consciousness. The energy you emit flows into the quantum field, and the quantum field reflects it back to you as your external reality. This means that every thought, every emotion, and every intention you hold is shaping your experience moment by moment. When you live in the third dimension, this process feels slow and uncertain because resistance, fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs creates delays. But in the fifth dimension, where resistance dissolves, manifestation becomes almost instantaneous. This is why living in the fifth dimension requires a deep sense of responsibility. You can no longer blame external circumstances for your reality. Instead, you realize that your outer world is simply a mirror of your inner state. If you're experiencing chaos, ask yourself, what part of me is in chaos right now? If you're feeling stuck, ask, what am I holding on to that's keeping me here? These questions are not meant to shame you, but to empower you. They remind you that you hold the key to transforming your experience by transforming your energy. One of the most beautiful aspects of living as a fifth-dimensional being is the realization that you are never alone. In the third dimension, it's easy to feel isolated, as though the weight of the world rests solely on your shoulders. But in the fifth dimension, you become deeply aware of the support that's always available to you. You begin to sense the presence of your higher self, your spirit guides, and the infinite intelligence of the universe working on your behalf. You realize that you are co-creating not just with your own energy, but with a vast loving force that wants to help you thrive. This co-creation process starts with trust. Trust isn't just a nice idea, it's an essential frequency in the fifth dimension. When you trust the universe, you release the need to control every detail of your life. You stop micromanaging outcomes and start surrendering to the flow of divine timing. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means taking inspired action. Action that feels aligned, joyful, and intuitive, while trusting that the universe will handle the rest. Ask yourself, am I making this decision from a place of fear or trust? Am I forcing or am I allowing? The more you trust, the more you'll see the universe rise to meet you in miraculous ways. Living in the fifth dimension also transforms the way you approach challenges. In the third dimension, challenges often feel like obstacles, something to fight against or overcome. But in the fifth dimension, you begin to see challenges as gifts. They're opportunities for growth, expansion, and deeper alignment. When something difficult arises, instead of asking, "Why is this helping me grow?" you ask, "What is this teaching me? How is this helping me grow?" This shift in perspective allows you to move through challenges with grace, knowing that every experience is serving your highest good. Let's talk about relationships, because they undergo a profound transformation in the fifth dimension. In the third dimension, relationships are often rooted in neediness, attachment, or control. We seek others to fill the voids within ourselves, which creates cycles of conflict and codependency. But in the fifth dimension, relationships are based on unity and unconditional love. You no longer seek someone to complete you because you recognize that you are already whole. Instead, you approach relationships as a way to share your wholeness, to reflect the love and divinity within each other. Imagine what your relationships would look like if they were free from fear, judgment, and expectation. What would it feel like to love others simply for who they are, without needing them to change? Another key aspect of living in the fifth dimension is that your desires shift. In the third dimension, we often desire things, money, success, recognition, because we believe they will make us feel a certain way. But in the fifth dimension, you realize that the feeling you're seeking is already within you. You don't need external validation to feel abundant, joyful, or fulfilled. Instead, your desires become expressions of your inner state. You no longer ask, "What can I get?" but "What can I create? What can I share with the world?" This shift doesn't mean you stop wanting things. It means you approach your desires from a place of alignment, not lack. Let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you truly embraced your power as a co-creator? If you stopped seeing the universe as something separate from you, and started seeing it as your partner in creation? What would you create if you knew that nothing was impossible, that every desire was already yours in energy? Living in the fifth dimension means stepping into this truth every single day. When you live as a fifth dimensional being, life becomes an extraordinary dance between you and the universe. You move with trust, flow, and purpose. You recognize that you are not here to struggle, you are here to experience, to expand, and to express the infinite potential of your soul. And as you do, you inspire others to rise into their own fifth dimensional frequency, creating a ripple effect of awakening that transforms the collective consciousness. What if I told you that your journey into the fifth dimension isn't just about you? What if your awakening is part of something much greater, a collective shift that's transforming humanity as a whole? Right now, the world is experiencing a profound spiritual awakening. People everywhere are questioning the old systems, breaking free from the illusions of separation, and seeking a deeper truth. This isn't a coincidence. It's a sign that humanity is being called to rise into a higher frequency, to step out of the density of the third dimension and into the unity, love, and infinite possibilities of the fifth dimension. And you, yes, you, are an essential part of this shift. In the third dimension, humanity has been living under the illusion of separation for centuries. We have been taught to see ourselves as isolated individuals, disconnected from each other and the planet. This belief in separation has created systems rooted in fear, competition, and scarcity, wars, inequality, environmental destruction. But as more and more people awaken, we're beginning to remember the truth. We are not separate. We are one. What happens to one of us affects all of us. And when we live from this awareness, we naturally begin to create a world that reflects the unity of the fifth dimension. The collective awakening begins with individuals. Every time you raise your vibration, every time you choose love over fear, you contribute to the collective energy of humanity. Think of it like a ripple effect. Your personal awakening creates a wave that inspires others to awaken, and their awakening inspires even more people. This is why your journey is so important. You are not just transforming your own life, you are helping to elevate the consciousness of the entire planet. Let me ask you, how would you live differently if you truly understood the impact of your energy on the world around you? But let's be honest, awakening isn't always easy. Right now, humanity is in a transition phase. The old 3D systems are crumbling, but the 5D world hasn't fully emerged yet. This creates chaos, uncertainty, and fear. You might feel this in your own life. Things that used to feel stable may be falling apart. Relationships might be shifting, or you might feel a deep restlessness, as though your soul is calling you to something greater. This is part of the process. The breakdown of the old is necessary for the birth of the new. Instead of resisting it, ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me? How can I use this challenge to rise into a higher frequency? As humanity shifts into the fifth dimension, new ways of living will begin to emerge. Imagine a world where collaboration replaces competition, where abundance is shared rather than hoarded, and where decisions are made not from fear, but from love. This isn't just a dream, it's already happening. You see it in the rise of conscious communities, sustainable innovations, and movements for justice and equality. These are the seeds of the fifth dimension taking root in the 3D world. And as more people awaken, these seeds will grow into something extraordinary. One of the most profound changes in the fifth dimension is how we relate to the planet. In the third dimension, we've treated the Earth as a resource to be exploited. But in the fifth dimension, we remember that the Earth is not separate from us. It is a living, conscious being, deeply connected to our own existence. When you live in the fifth dimension, you feel this connection in every breath you take, every step you walk. You realize that caring for the planet is not a duty, it's an act of love, an expression of your unity with all life. So, what can you do to help humanity rise into the fifth dimension? It starts with your own energy. The more you embody the frequency of love, trust, and unity, the more you inspire others to do the same. But it also requires action. This doesn't mean you have to change the world single-handedly. It means living in alignment with your highest truth and sharing your unique gifts with the world. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or simply the way you show up each day, you have the power to create ripples of transformation. As humanity rises into the fifth dimension, we are creating a new Earth, one that reflects the infinite potential of our collective consciousness. This isn't something that will happen overnight, but it's happening faster than ever before. The more we align with the energy of unity, love, and creation, the more we accelerate this shift. You are not just a witness to this transformation, you are an integral part of it. The question isn't whether humanity will rise into the fifth dimension. The question is, how will you choose to participate in this extraordinary journey? Will you hold on to the old stories of fear and separation, or will you step boldly into the new frequency of unity and love? The choice is yours, and the universe is waiting for your answer.